Tonight on SportsDesk, Canes men's basketball is moments away from tipping off versus Duke in the ACC semifinals. Our Hurricane Hangtime crew breaks down how Miami got there and what needs to happen tonight for the Canes to keep advancing.
Plus, Friday night frights. After losing 4 of their last 5 games, Canes baseball is shaking up their starting lineup for tonight's matchup with NC State. Our Inside Pitch crew breaks it all down from Mark-Light Field.
And later on, Bonded by Boat. Reporter Ryan Marshall highlights one team of survivors spreading breast cancer awareness one paddle at a time.
All that and more.
SportsDesk starts right now.
I'm Ed Reed, and you're watching SportsDesk.
Hi, I'm Jim Kelly, former UAM guy. You're watching SportsDesk.
What's up? I'm DJ Williams, and y'all watching SportsDesk.
Hello and welcome to SportsDesk. I'm Daryl Barnes.
And I'm Ethan Gainey. Thank you so much for joining us. The Canes men's basketball squad is tipping off their ACC semifinal matchup against Duke as we speak.
Yeah, right now. But Ethan, they almost didn't make it there. As the top seed, Miami had a bye for their first 2 rounds. But yesterday, the Canes faced off with Wake Forest in the tournament's 3rd round.
And it came down to the wire.
Yeah, let's check it out.
All right, so let's kick things off at the start of the second half. Wong with the step back 3 there to give the Canes a 55-38 lead. Things looking good for the Canes right now.
Yeah, 17-point lead, but the story of the season has been the Canes, really the last 3 weeks, struggling to close out games like this.
Tyree Appleby with the tough shot right in Wooga Poplar's face right there. Wooga all up in there, but he couldn't do anything about that.
Yeah, so with a minute left now, the Canes just have real tight lead. Cut the lead to 4.
Or a 5-point lead right now. Gonna kick it to Hildreth with the up fake and the make. It's a 2-point game now.
And it's starting to get eerily similar, right? Can Wooga finish this one out? Misses the free throw.
Can't.
Now a chance to get the half-court shot.
By the way, half quarter went in for them at the end of the half, but that one didn't. So the Canes are able to just squeak out that 74-72 victory over Wake Forest, which leads them up to tonight, where they're taking on Duke. So that's how we got here. But what does Miami need to do tonight against Duke, and what can we look forward to next week when the madness starts? Our Hurricane Hangtime crew is here to break it all down. Guys?
Thanks, Ethan, and welcome everybody to Hurricane Hangtime. I'm your host, Wrigley Court, joined by Andrew Klein and Gavin Bisho. Let's talk hoops. Starting off with the men's team, where the ACC tournament is in full swing. They got the win yesterday against Wake Forest. Andrew, it was a little closer than it should have been, but how'd they pull off that win?
Well, Wrigley, Miami looked really good in the first half yesterday against Wake Forest. They went into the break up by 5, but it was the second half where Miami struggled, and it's where they've struggled all season long. Wake Forest went up 43-40 by the end of that second half. They had a chance to cut that lead even closer than it was at 2. A couple of big shots from Wake Forest down the stretch, but Miami able to pull out the win. And let's take the positives where we can. I got the dog tie on today because Jordan Miller has got that dog in him. 18 points, 9 rebounds. They need another huge game out of him tonight against Duke if Miami wants to pull off another big win.
As we speak, the Canes are taking on a red-hot Blue Devils team. Andrew, what do they need to beat one of their biggest rivals?
Well, Wrigley, this is a familiar opponent for the Hurricanes and Jim Larrañaga. They faced Duke twice this year. That loss in Cameron Indoor Stadium, 68-66, which Miami did not rebound well at all. Then the Hurricanes rebounded extremely well in their big win, 81-59 against Duke right here at home. If they could rebound, they could run out in transition and get easy buckets. This would be a huge game for Miami and a huge opportunity for them to win.
Moving from a team that's looking to bolster its tournament position to one barely hanging on, Gavin, the women needed to make a big run in the ACC tournament, but they did not do that, falling to Virginia Tech on Friday. What happened in that loss?
Well, it was always going to be a tall task against number 8 Virginia Tech, but what didn't go wrong? 24% from the field, that's not going to cut it. Then they also lost the turnover battle, which they've struggled with down the stretch. The Achilles heel of this team, Coach Katie Meyer preaches about it. Not to mention they go down 20-5 after the end of the first quarter. Again, they're putting themselves in poor spots, and when you can't shoot, you can't get things done.
The Canes limped into the end of the season, and now, Gavin, what do their tournament hopes look like?
Well, I wouldn't say they're slim, but they right now are sitting on their couches and hoping bubble teams lose. They're the 5th to last team out in the bracket, and it's going to be a toss of the coin, in my opinion, whether they'll be in the NCAA tournament, the first 4, or in the WNIT. Solid consolation they can play home at the Watsco Center if they're in that WNIT tournament. But that's the real look at right now, just holding their breath.
Selection Sunday is coming up. It's a most wonderful time of the year, but that is all the time we have, so let's send it back to Daryl at the desk.
All right, thanks, guys. It's been 10 years since the Watsco Center has been home to the ACC regular season champs, but this is what the post-game celebration looks like on Saturday, because after a historic season on and off the court, the Canes are regular season champs once again. It's the celebration fifth-year senior Jordan Miller waited his entire career for.
I've played a lot of years of college basketball. This is my first time finishing first in any conference. I mean, it's really just surreal.
On Saturday, students stormed the court after the Canes won the ACC regular season championship for just the second time ever. Miami dominated at home all season, going 16-1 and setting a new school record for most home wins. But the team has said all season long they couldn't have done it without the help of crowds like this.
Just Category 5 this whole year has been phenomenal.
Category 5 is the name of Miami's student section. And last year they tried something new, rebranding the basketball student section, calling it the I.
Our goal at the start of the year was we've got to start doing things that, even if you don't love basketball, you're going to have fun when you're at this game.
And creating new fun traditions like setting off fire extinguishers and confetti cannons helped draw in record-setting student sections, giving Miami one of the best home court advantages in the country.
I had someone say to me, this environment is as good as there is in the ACC, and that says a whole lot about our fans.
And to Jordan, the chance to share the glory with fans means just as much as the win.
Being able to celebrate with our peers, dapping them up, they're screaming, yelling, and just sharing that excitement is just crazy.
Canes win the title for the year and memories that'll last forever. Daryl Barnes, UMTV.
Coming up on Sports Desk, it's Neon Night at the Light, and Canes baseball is looking for a glow-up. Ryan Gleischer will give us a live look from Miami's ACC opener when we come back.
How you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Thank you.
A place to make my own, a place that I call home, this place that I call home.
Canes baseball has the first ACC contest of the season for them tonight, as they are going to take on NC State Wolfpack right now. Olivia Howell and Cal Friedman, though, had the chance to visit Mark Light Field earlier today for this week's edition of Inside Pitch. Guys?
Hello and welcome to this week's special edition of Inside Pitch. I'm your host, Olivia Howell, here with analyst Cal Friedman. Cal, it's so great to be out here at Mark Light Field. It's such a beautiful day, but let's get right to it. Miami struggled heavily throughout last weekend's series against the Gators. What were the biggest issues you saw?
Well, the biggest issue for Miami in Gainesville has been their toughest issue all season long, and it's been their starting pitching. Head coach Gino DeMare mentioned that Miami's starters needed to go 6, maybe 7 innings if they wanted to return to Omaha this season. Right now, they're having trouble getting through 5. Looking at Gage Zeal firstly, the Friday night guy, his strikeout numbers are still there, Olivia. However, he's getting hit a lot more than he was last season. It hasn't been the cleanest transition to starting. That ERA is still over 10. Alejandro Rosario started out really well in these first 2 weekends here at the Light, but the Gators figured him out. He couldn't get through 3 innings at UF. So Miami, they're going to make a change. Carson Ligon's going to move up from Saturday to Friday, get the game 1 start here at the Light tonight. It's going to be a difficult challenge for Carson, but he's been Miami's best arm. A Miami team that needs a win. They've lost 4 out of 5. How do you flip momentum? You give your best guy a chance on Friday night and hope that momentum carries in. That's why Carson Ligon's getting the nod tonight.
For sure, Cal. It should be interesting to see how the Canes perform with that switch up. But this weekend is the ACC series opener. 7 teams in the conference are currently ranked, with NC State ranked at number 19. What should the Canes expect going up against this battle?
They should expect a high-octane offense, as they should all season long. The ACC always looks like one of the toughest conferences in college baseball. This season, it's no different. Let's take a look at those 7 teams that Olivia mentioned. Miami's going to face 6 of them in their next 6 ACC series. There's 3 teams in the NCAA that are undefeated, 2 of them in the ACC. 1 of them are here tonight. The Wolfpack, 13-0. They've got 5 players hitting over 390, especially freshman Cannon Peebles, who's leading the team with a 480 average.
For sure, Cal. The Wolfpack has a ton of stacked players, but tell me, Cal, what are your calls?
Well, Miami needs to get their leadoff guys on. Edgardo Villegas had a great start to the season. I think he's going to be on base a lot this weekend. Secondly, NC State, they're undefeated, but their best win so far is against Coastal Carolina. They haven't quite faced Miami's level of pitching. It's a great opportunity for them to pick up some strikeouts. And finally, I mentioned it last week, Miami has to do a better job with runners in scoring position. Who's been their best option? It's been Blake Sear. He's going to have a big weekend in his ACC debut.
It's going to be an exciting weekend for sure, Cal, but that's all the time we have. Back to Daryl and Ethan at the desk.
Thanks, guys. Now let's take a trip right back to Mark Light Field and see what the game day atmosphere is like with the start of conference play. Our lead reporter, Ryan Gleischer, is live outside the Light right now. Ryan, we're hearing there's a bunch of giveaways tonight. Tell us what the fans, and you, I see, received.
Guys, it is ACC opening night here at Mark Light Field, where the Hurricanes are taking on undefeated NC State, and it's going to be a big one tonight, as they're dubbing this Neon Night. So they're giving out these neon lit sticks and also this neon lit hat to the people in attendance tonight. And not only that, courtesy of Category 5, they're giving out these Cuban Heritage t-shirts as a thank you to those who are in attendance. Now, if you're arriving to this game too late and you're not able to grab any of these items, you could always grab a milkshake and enjoy the ball game. Reporting live from the Light, Ryan Gleischer, UMTV.
All right, Ryan, get yourself a milkshake. Canes baseball is trying to get back on track, while Canes basketball is gearing up for their postseason runs. Niles Nassim is here to break down the Canes' outlook on social media on this edition of Behind the Post. Niles?
Look, we got to hurry up and get this segment done because it's time for me to have some mid-semester fun. Ladies and gentlemen, it's spring break. So before I head to South Beach and get the most glorious tan in the wondrous sands, join me for the most electrifying segment on TV with me, Niles Nassim, your host with the most. So when you see me on screen, it's time to go behind the post. One game at a time. That's how Canes basketball is moving after advancing the ACC tournament. And what a game it was, as the Canes will pull out a 74-72 win against the Demon Deacons, but they have some more wins that they have to be seeking. No time for celebration, people, because that's right, they are back again tonight in the semifinals against Duke, and they are looking to prove that this season is not a fluke. Tip-off is at 7, so tune in after the show. And Canes baseball is finally in ACC play, so tonight they have a fabulous giveaway going on at the Light. Ryan Gleischer, I know you're already there, but we're going to have some problems after the show if you don't save me one of those caps. The Canes are taking on NC State right now, so if you got nothing better to do after the show, I'll see you there. And what's better than Canes baseball? And if they ain't foreign, they're boring. That's why Canes women's basketball is going on a world tour. From Paris to Athens, the Canes will be getting buckets across borders, and they deserve it after the season they had. But there is one more thing. It's Women's History Month, and to show the impact of women on sports, I think what the players said about Coach Katie Meyer sums it up.
I'll always be grateful for you, and I'll never have enough words to say to explain how much our relationship has meant to me.
Well, that's all the time I have for you today. Thank you to all the women who make this show as great as it is. We couldn't do it without you. Be blessed, don't stress, and wait, I'm late for my tanning appointment. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
Up next on Sports Desk, Off the Bench is back, and Manny Nacarado was up to the ultimate challenge. Stay with us. But first, it's time for some trivia. With ACC play beginning tonight, Canes baseball has the most conference wins of any ACC team in the last 4 seasons. But how many wins do they have? Is it A, 52, B, 57, C, 59, or D, 61? Stay tuned for the answer when we return. Tonight on Sports Desk, history in the making. Our lead reporter Ryan Gleischer is in Houston to bring us a look at the men's basketball team as they prepare for their first ever Final Four matchup versus UConn.
Plus, a rivalry renewed. Canes baseball kicks off their series with Florida State tonight at the Light. Our Inside Pitch crew shares what Miami must do to stop the chalk.
And later on, NFL hopeful. Miami football's pro day took place on Monday. We'll tell you how the Canes fared in front of pro scouts.
All that and more.
Sports Desk starts
right now.
I'm Ed Reed, and you're watching SportsDesk.
Hi, I'm Jim Kelly, former UAM guy. You're watching SportsDesk.
What's up? I'm DJ Williams, and y'all watching SportsDesk.
Hello and welcome to Sports Desk. I'm Ethan Gainey.
And I'm Olivia Howell. It's an exciting weekend for Canes hoops as they're about to make their first ever Final Four appearance.
Yeah, exciting actually might be an understatement. The Canes are taking on the UConn Huskies in Houston tomorrow night at 8:49 p.m. And our lead reporter Ryan Gleiter is over 1,000 miles away. He's live from Houston's NRG Stadium right now. Ryan, we miss you over here, but tell us all about what you're seeing so far from the Final Four.
Guys, I'm live at NRG Stadium right now for the Final Four weekend, and they just ended the Reese's All-Star game, and the West team came out on top. And that wasn't all that happened today as fans enjoyed it in the crowd, as all teams participated in open practices today, and Miami did so as well. And they were pretty loose out there, as Miami hosted at the end of their practice a game of knockout where, of course, ACC Player of the Year Isaiah Wong was the one that came out on top. But for now, leaving you here from NRG Stadium on the road until tomorrow. For UMTV, I'm Ryan Gleischer.
Thanks, Ryan. The men's team came back from a 13 down to beat Texas in their Elite 8 game, while the women fell to by 12 to LSU in their own Elite 8 game. Our Hurricane Hangtime crew is here to break it all down.
Thanks, Liv, and welcome everybody to Hurricane Hangtime. I'm your host, Wrigley Court, joined by Jake Baum and Gavin Bischow. Let's talk hoops. Starting off on the men's side of things, where they got the Elite 8 victory against the Texas Longhorns. Jake, let's talk about that game.
Well, yes, it was a beautiful Elite 8 victory over the Longhorns for the Canes, heading all the way to the Final Four. Let's talk about this game. Canes up early 7-0, but it seemed after that the Texas Longhorns were hitting every shot they attempted. Here, Serge Jabari Rice, another attempted three. That one good as well. Then Texas did eventually take the lead, a big lead at that. However, Jordan Miller does not want to let that stand. See a pull-up jumper there, and then after that, a nice assist from Miller to Wooga. 4-3 from the corner is good. Swoosh, nothing but net on that one. Now let's go to the second half. Canes still down by a lot, and Serge Jabari Rice kept hitting those threes. Another attempt there, and now Canes are coming back, only down by 10. Isaiah Wong trying to lead this comeback. Pull-up jumper, beautiful there, only down by 8. Skip a little forward, Wong to Omir. That one, alley-oop, is good. Beautiful, game is tied. They would take the lead on a free throw after that. Nigel Pack, 3 no good, but a little bit of foul trouble from both teams there, and the Canes would take the lead on a couple free throws. And after that, Canes come out victorious. Norchad Omir throwing up the ball there. Canes end up defeating the Longhorns 88-81 and advance to the Final Four against the University of Connecticut Huskies Saturday night.
All right, Jake, now that we've seen some of the big plays from that game, what were your keys to the win against the Texas Longhorns?
Well, the big thing of note in that game against the Longhorns, Jordan Miller, 7 for 7 field goal shooting and 13 for 13 from the line. He's got that 20-20 vision, something that I don't have.
All right, moving on to the Final Four matchup against the UConn Huskies. They've looked like the best team in the tournament so far, averaging over 80 points a game with some stout defense. Jake, how can the Canes beat this team?
Two big things to note if you're the Miami Hurricanes. First is the turnover battle. The Huskies are averaging one more turnover per game than the Canes, and the Canes are averaging one more steal than the Huskies. If they can win that turnover battle, the Canes already have a leg up on the competition. One more thing of note is going to be the scoring. A lot of people saying that UConn has an amazing defense and not allowing a lot of points. However, University of Houston, when they played in the Sweet 16, allow on average less than 58 points per game, and the Canes went on to score 89. So if the Canes can repeat that success, UConn's defense shouldn't be a problem.
Moving from one Elite 8 team to another, the Lady Canes took on the LSU Tigers but were unable to emerge victorious. Gavin, what happened in that game?
Well, coming hot off their Sweet 16 victory against Villanova, it was Miami, LSU, ACC, SEC, and the program's first Elite 8. We start in the first half, and it was the Jasmine Roberts show for Miami. getting the first bucket on the board for the Canes. She had 22 points coming off a 26-point performance against the Villanova Wildcats in the Sweet 16. How about that? Hand in the face, step back, jump shot. And then again, another jump shot right there, but she did really well. She shot 10 for 20 from the field. Really Miami's only offense all game long. As you see there, cutting to the basket, making a great play. She was the only spark this Miami team had, cutting, passing, shooting. She had all the success. Now second half, LSU pulling away, getting a little bit of space, a little bit of momentum. This LSU team so poised. They shot so poorly in the first half. They came back, took easy shots in the second half. Look at this, up 13, make it 16. The corner three gave the Tigers their largest lead of the evening, and then alley-oop, why not? The LSU Tigers taking down the Miami Hurricanes 54-42. They're dancing on the sideline because they're dancing to Dallas. Well, they'll play Virginia Tech actually now against a former HCC foe with Miami Hurricanes. Again, Jasmine Roberts with 22 points. Destiny Harden had not as much luck, only 3 points in her final game with the Hurricanes.
Gavin, the women were unable to continue their playoff run, but they had a historic season, entering the first Elite Eight berth in the program's history. What does this mean for the program going forward?
Well, certainly there's a lot of buzz around this women's basketball team that really didn't have as much popularity on campus especially, and also on the national landscape. Katie Meyer, that run cemented her in her legacy into a very high echelon of coaches, and just the way the team played, she inspired not only fans but her own team and the players as they really revolve around her as the central point. This is going to be a key run when they go into recruiting that they're going to use as a step stool to see what this team can do in the future. You lose Destiny Harden, you lose Carla Arievitz, but you might have the Cavenders, their status is unknown, but then also Jasmine Roberts. She did really well down the stretch. Look to see how good her future is, but Katie Meyer, certainly a lot of pluses out of this deep run.
Got a big Final Four matchup coming up tomorrow, but that is all the time we have, so let's send it back to Ethan at the desk.
All right, thanks guys. And with all this Final Four excitement here on campus, we decided to go out and talk to students to see how they think the Canes will perform tomorrow night. Check it out.
What's up, everyone? I'm Gabby Patrone.
And I'm Ethan Gady, and it's Final Four week for the first time ever here on campus at the U. And with every major sporting event in the U.S. nowadays comes major sports betting. So we wanted to give students on campus a chance to place their own bet.
We set player props for our starting 5 on the Hurricanes, and we want to know if you think they'll go over
or under. We want to know, is Nigel Peck going to hit over or under 2.5 threes?
Over.
Over. Over.
I'm going to take the under on that.
Okay. Will Jordan Miller be shooting over or under 60% from the field?
Absolutely over. I mean, he's coming off what he did last game, so I think there's no way that he doesn't do the same. That's over.
Perfect score. Over.
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 Isaiah Wong, over under 16.5 points.
Over. He'll have a big game.
Over.
Definitely over. Over.
Over. Easily. Norchad O'Meara, over or under 10.5 rebounds? Over.
I'm taking the under on that. I think that he's going to have a lot of problems with UConn center.
Under.
I'm going to say under because UConn has that big, tall guy.
Over, book it. Over, that's my guy.
Over. Now convert that to baby food. Baby food, let's go.
Finally, Wooga Poplar, is he going to have a yam this game, a dunk?
Oh, he's going to have a yam.
Absolute yams?
All in on the yam for Wooga. Yeah, another inbound play off the back.
Easily, yes.
100%, yes.
Without a doubt in the world.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, it's his day.
He'll probably have a few, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm expecting at least 3.
All right, well, we spoke to at least 20 people, too many to even include, and I would say we set some pretty good lines.
Yeah, I mean, we had people think it for a while, but there were obviously those Canes fans. It's all in on the Canes.
Well, I guess you have to see if they're right or wrong this Saturday night in Houston.
Ethan Gady.
And I'm Gabby Patrone.
And let's send it back to myself at the desk.
Thanks, me. Miami sports have created a major buzz on campus all semester, and a big reason for that has been the energy created by the student sections at games. Brandy Troop sat down with Category 5 Chair Rebecca Elia for more.
Hello everyone, I am Brandy Troop, and today we have a very special in-studio interview with the chair of Category 5, Miss Rebecca Elia. Rebecca, how are you?
Hi Brandy, I'm doing great. Thank you for asking, and thank you so much for having me.
Girl, I am so glad to have you here. You in Category 5 have been doing your thing, okay? The fan attendance at all the games and events. You've created this high-spirited atmosphere. How have you done it?
You know, Brandy, it's taken quite a lot of work behind the scenes at Category 5, and I think that that's one thing that we really have improved on over the course of this year. A lot of times when people see us in the stands, they see these crazy, chaotic students, but what they don't see is the amount of work and dedication that we have to put in every single day to be able to achieve that high energy, chaotic, in-game experience energy that you see.
To have such success that you guys have acquired, you got to have an amazing team dynamic. What is that dynamic like?
Our team dynamic, I have to say, it almost resembles that of our current men's and women's basketball teams. You can just see in their eyes on the court how they can interact, and we are just the same way. We have an amazing executive board made up with amazing committees that serve underneath each of them, and together we make this coherent energy that just cranks out amazing ideas and puts them into fruition.
Love it. Do you feel that appreciation from the athletes?
Oh my gosh, the athletes are so wonderful at showing us how much they appreciate what we do. It's not a day that goes by that one of us doesn't receive either a text or a phone call, either from a classmate, a teammate, a team manager, any of those students reaching out being like, hey guys, we love what you're doing. Come show up for us to this. We're leaving at this time. We're going to be here at this time. Just support us. We really appreciate everything that they do for us to help us get bigger, so we're just giving it back to them.
You guys are absolutely amazing, and I hope not a day goes by in your mind where you're questioning that your presence matters, because it absolutely does. Thank you so much for being here. That was Rebecca Elia. I am Brandy Troop. Back to you guys at the desk.
Coming up, lead reporter Ryan Marshall is live from Mark Light Field as the Canes are currently taking on rival FSU. Don't go anywhere.